Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating passage from the 21st chapter of John's Gospel.
Right. This is after the resurrection.
Exactly. It takes place by the sea, and it's just packed with these practical details, but also really profound moments.
It really is a very grounded scene in a way.
So let's set the scene. You've got the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, or Galilee,
Same place.
Right. And there are 7 of them named, or at least counted. Simon Peter's there, Thomas, Nathaniel, James, and John, the sons of Zebedee.
And 2 others who aren't named.
Right. 7 total. And after everything that's happened, everything Peter just says, I'm going fishing. Kind of back to basics.
Back to what he knew. And the others are like, okay, we'll come too.
So they get in the boat, they head out, and they fish all night long. The source is really clear on this.
All night. And caught. Nothing.
0. Zilch. A whole night of skilled labor and absolutely nothing to show for it.
And that failure, that emptiness after all their effort, it's significant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really sets up what happens next.
It does, because as morning starts to break, early light.
They're probably exhausted, maybe a bit demoralized.
For sure. And they see this figure standing on the shore. But here's the thing, they don't recognize him.
Not immediately, which is interesting in itself.
Yeah. And this person calls out, across the water, friends or children, depending on the translation, haven't you caught any fish?
Just a simple question.
And their answer is just as simple, blunt even, no.
Just no. You can almost hear the weariness in it.
Definitely. And then the instruction comes from the stranger on the beach.
The one they still don't recognize.
He says, throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some.
Now, after a whole night of catching nothing, being told where to throw the net,
Yeah.
it seems kind of arbitrary maybe.
Or maybe just...
Yeah.
Anyway, they do it. They actually follow the instruction.
They cast the net on the right side, just like he said.
And wow, the result is immediate and overwhelming.
It's not just a few fish.
No, it's so many fish they physically can't haul the net into the boat. It's completely full, straining.
An impossible catch, really, after the night they'd had.
And that's the moment. The disciple described as the one whom Jesus loved.
Traditionally, John.
Right. He looks at the figure on the shore, puts 2 and 2 together with this miracle, and says to Peter, it is the Lord.
The penny drops.
Ah.
That specific kind of miraculous catch, maybe echoing an earlier one.
Exactly. It triggers the recognition. It's Jesus.
And then you see these 2 very different reactions, right? John recognizes him intellectually through insight.
And Peter, pure action. As soon as he hears it is the Lord, what does he do?
He doesn't wait for the boat.
No way. He's stripped down for work, so the text says he puts his outer garment back on, wraps it around himself,
This is interesting detail itself.
and then just jumps into the water, starts swimming or wading to shore.
He's got to get there now. So impulsive, so Peter.
Meanwhile, the other guys are, doing the practical thing.
Still wrestling with that net.
Yeah, towing this incredibly heavy net full of fish, making their way in the boat the 100 yards or so to shore.
So Peter gets there first, dripping wet, presumably.
And what do they find when they land? Jesus is already there,
Hmm.
and he's got a charcoal fire going.
Already prepared?
Yeah, with
Wow.
fish cooking on it. And there's bread, too. Breakfast is basically ready.
Amazing. He's providing for them even before they bring their catch.
But he does involve their catch. He says, bring some of the fish you have just caught.
Right, connecting their work, their miraculous haul, to the meal.
So Peter, who's now on the shore, maybe helps pull again or climbs back aboard briefly. The text says he dragged the net ashore.
And here comes that amazing detail.
Yeah, the number. They count the fish.
153.
Specifically, 153 large fish. And get this.
The net wasn't torn.
Even with that massive, heavy haul of big fish, the net holds. Incredible.
There's definitely symbolism people read into that number, 153, and the untorn net. But the sheer detail is striking.
It really is. So they've brought the fish. Jesus has the fire.
And he serves them. He comes, takes the bread, gives it to them, does the same with the fish.
A beachside breakfast with the resurrected Jesus.
Yeah. And there's this telling line. None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?"
Why not?
They knew it was the Lord. Any lingering doubt, any initial lack of recognition, it's gone. There's a certainty now.
A quiet understanding.
Exactly. And the author points out this is the 3rd time Jesus appeared to the disciples as a group after the resurrection.
Marking it as significant. Okay, so breakfast happens, then what?
Then the focus narrows right down. It becomes very personal, very direct.
Yeah.
Between Jesus and Peter.
Right. After they finished eating, Jesus turns to Simon Peter And he asks him, point blank, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these?"
Whoa, that's intense. More than these, more than the other disciples, more than the boats, the fish, the old life.
It's debated, but the question hangs there. And Peter answers, "Yes, Lord."
But notice his wording, often pointed out. You know that I love you. It's like an appeal, you know my heart.
And Jesus' response isn't just, "Okay." It's a commission. Feed my lambs.
Okay, first question, first commission. But it doesn't stop there.
No. Jesus asks him again, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me?"
Same question, essentially.
And Peter's answer is the same. "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you."
Still appealing to Jesus' knowledge of him.
And Jesus gives the second commission, "Take care of my sheep."
Lambs, now sheep. Different aspects of the flock, perhaps. But still, the core responsibility.
Then comes the third time. "Simon, son of John, do you love me?"
And the text explicitly says Peter was hurt.
Yeah, grieved, maybe, because he asked him the third time. It must have brought back.
The three denials. It seems almost unavoidable to connect them. Three denials, now three affirmations of love, three commissions.
Peter's response this third time feels even more emphatic. "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Like, you know everything. You know this is true."
And the third commission follows. Feed my sheep.
Wow. That's powerful. There's often discussion about the Greek words for love used here, agape and phileo.
Right. Jesus starts with agape, maybe that higher selfless love.
Yeah.
And Peter responds with filio friendship, brotherly love. The third time, some suggest Jesus meets Peter where he is, using filio himself.
Whatever the nuance, the overall sense is one of restoration, right? Reinstatement.
Absolutely. A really profound moment of grace and renewed purpose for Peter.
Yeah, he says basically, look, when you were young, you did your own thing, went where you wanted.
But when you're old, Jesus says, you'll stretch out your hands, someone else will dress you, and lead you where you do not want to go.
That sounds ominous.
It is. And the author immediately interprets it for us. Says Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death Peter would die. A martyr's death. Tradition holds by crucifixion.
A death by which he would glorify God. And right after dropping that bombshell prediction,
What does he say?
the simplest, most direct command, "Follow me."
So the call to follow is directly linked to this prediction of suffering and difficult death. Following isn't easy.
No, it's total commitment, even to the point of a death you wouldn't choose.
But then Peter does something very human.
Huh? Yeah. He's just heard this heavy prophecy about his own life and death and the call to follow. He turns
Looks over his shoulder, maybe.
and sees John, the disciple Jesus loved, following along behind them.
The one who leaned on Jesus at the Last Supper, the author reminds us.
And Peter looks at Jesus and asks, essentially, "Okay, fine, that's me, but Lord, what about him?"
What's his story going to be? It's such a relatable moment of comparison, isn't it?
Totally. And Jesus' response is pretty sharp.
Very direct. He says, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you?
Oof. Mic drop.
Basically, his path is my business, not yours.
And then Jesus repeats the core instruction to Peter, "You must follow me."
Don't worry about him. Don't compare. Don't get distracted. Your job is to follow me. Focus on your own path.
Such a crucial lesson. But that exchange led to a bit of confusion.
Right. Because Jesus said, if I want him to remain, a rumor started.
Yeah, the author clarifies this. A rumor went around the believers that this disciple John wouldn't die.
But Jesus didn't actually say that.
No. He just posed a hypothetical. If I want him to remain, what's that to you? Big difference.
It shows how easily things can get twisted, even words from Jesus. But the author sets the record straight.
And this author who is setting the record straight,
He identifies himself, essentially. He says he's the disciple who testifies to these things, the one who wrote them down.
the beloved disciple.
Yes. And he adds, we know that his testimony is true, an affirmation of the account's reliability.
And then the book ends with this incredible, almost mind-blowing statement.
About all the other things Jesus did.
Yeah. That if every single one were written down, he supposes that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written.
It's a powerful way to end. It says, what you've read is true and important, but it's just scratching the surface of who Jesus was and what he did. Leaves you in awe, really.
So wrapping this up, you have this amazing sequence. Back to the ordinary grind, failure, then this sudden miraculous turnaround.
Recognition, a quiet breakfast, provision.
Then that incredibly intense personal restoration of Peter. 3 questions, 3 commands.
Followed by a stark prophecy about his death, but immediately tied to the core call, follow me.
And that final moment of human comparison met with that sharp redirection. What is that to you? You follow me.
It's just layered. You've got themes of grace after failure, the nature of true leadership and service, feeding the lambs, tending the sheep.
The cost of discipleship.
Absolutely. And the vital importance of focusing on your own walk, your own response to Jesus's call, not constantly comparing yourself to others or getting caught up in rumors or hypotheticals.
When you think about this whole chapter, what really stands out to you? Is there a particular detail or moment?
For me, sometimes it's the simple instruction: throw the net on the right side. Obedience in the face of failure, leading to abundance. Or maybe that untorn net holding 153 fish. It speaks of a capacity beyond breaking.
Yeah, or for me, it might be that raw moment when Peter is hurt by the third question. The vulnerability there and Jesus meeting him in it.
And that final, inescapable command, you must follow me, cutting through all the distractions.
So much is packed in there.
Definitely.
So as we finish this deep dive, maybe something for you to mull over. Think about Jesus meeting them right there on the beach after a night of failure in their ordinary work clothes. What does that tell you about how he meets us? And what does that command, you must follow me, mean for you personally today, cutting through all the noise and comparison?